Hello guys, my name is Sansista. In this video, I want to talk about how to be aligned with flow, not only in Counter-Strike but also in real life, so you can attract a lot of opportunities and you can live a successful and big life as you always wish, as you always desired. And I think that it's really important to understand the whole kind of like universal principle that we're going to talk about, so you can be aligned with flow and you can live life at the maximum potential. Because a lot of people, they are not watching this kind of stuff, they're not watching this type of content, and because of that they don't realize that um, default of our society is at the lowest, and it's not about doing stuff, but it's about being. We're gonna talk about it today. So first of all, before we start, I just want to thank you so much for all the really positive comments that you are giving me, guys. I'm really appreciating this because, you know, I didn't know that I can get some kind of like far with this type of content, and I don't even care that much. What I care about is if you can relate to this kind of stuff and if it can help you, because that's what I care about. And yeah, I just want to say that thank you for all your support, and I'm really happy that you can relate to this type of content. So what I'm gonna do is, again, I'm gonna go into the beloved painting, and we're gonna just write some certain stuff. So what we need to understand is that whenever you believe in God or no, in a higher power, you need to understand that universe isn't personal, but it's principle. What I mean by it is that I'm gonna give you an example. For example, you have a person, and you definitely encounter those two type of persons. You have a person that is so kind, generous, he's giving away, he's always making an action to help someone, and to just, yeah, just support them. And they're so however, they're so poor, like in external, they don't have money, they don't have relationships, they're just kind of broke. And then you have the second type of people uh, that are really evil, right? They're like this business owners, and some of them, right, and they're really like evil, and for example they are using bad things so they can make a money out of people, and it works for them, and they got rich because of that, and they're free and they're happy and whatever. So this is kind of like two type of people, right, that for example you can encounter in your life. The problem, or like the thought behind it, is that you're probably asking, why is this guy having so much and this guy, the good guy, is having so small amount of things? And it's because universe is not personal. It doesn't look at, okay, this guy is doing the right things, this guy's doing, because there is no such as right things and bad things and stuff, but like in general, it isn't personal, but it's principle. Okay, it's like a math equation, and it works like that. It's like a calculator. You do something plus something and it will equals something. And that's exactly the principle that we're going to talk about. And with that principle, you can be ahead so much in your life, because you know what's really going to change something, what really going to change the outcome. And it's really awesome, because when you are finally beginning to understand, you see so much improvements in your life. Now, what is the principle? Is being, doing, and having. Now, why draw it in that direction? Because the being is the most important one. Because from the place of being, you're gonna do stuff, and because of that, you're gonna receive stuff, right? So it's being, doing, receiving, right? So that's the kind of stuff. So being means, how are you being, right? So even if this person that is so generous and giving everyone presents and giving everyone all the stuff, He's being in himself. I don't deserve money. I don't deserve success. It's in his subconscious. I'm not enough. Whatever it is, this will result it into having. Because the doing doesn't matter if the being is poor, right? But also, doing is really important because it doesn't mean that you're gonna be enlightened. You're gonna go on mountain and just gonna meditate there and that's everything you're gonna do. No, you need to put the action, you need to put the work, but from a place of being, right? And then you're gonna receive the thing that you should always receive, right? So if in your subconscious you're saying I'm not enough, or for example, success is scary, right? Or something like this, then you're gonna receive what you want simply. And probably consciously you want success, but subconsciously you don't want it, and that's why you're gonna receive what you wanted always, and that's to not be successful. So that's how it works simply, right? And this is again a shadow work, this is again a somatic work, and I wanna make a really big video soon on that, because it's something that can like change my life completely, really recently, and I still want to really plan it out and actually release a really good video on that. So this will be really helpful for you if you want to go deeper in this kind of concepts. But this is the really important thing. Now, as we understand this, we can understand um, a deeper thing, right? So first of all, if you didn't know, I just like fastly draw it this out there. This is a yin yang concept, right? Um, this is a black side and this is a white side, right? Um, yeah, I'm not gonna like color it, but yeah, you get the point, right? So this is a yin yang concept, right? And it shows that we have a yin as a emotional, as a feminine, as a passive side, relaxed side, while you have a yang, which is more action-based, masculine, just dominant and like just action-based, force, ego driven, right? And this is referring to that we are living in a dualities, right? We have hot and cold and stuff like this, right? And what it's referring to is that if you combine half of yin and half of yang and put it together, you're gonna receive what? Flow, because that's the way in middle. This wave in middle represents flow. And that's exactly what it is here. So we can have yin as a being, because yin is emotional, is inactive, is a state of being, right? And then doing is obviously yang, as a doing a certain action and then having receive flow if you obviously gonna combine half of yin and half of yang, right? So again, we're going back to that point. If you're being at the highest and you're not doing anything, you're not gonna receive anything. And if you're doing, but from a poor place of being, right, from a scarcity mindset survival, you are not gonna again have anything, nothing. So what you need to do is first of all being, right, being at the vibration where from that place of being you can now do stuff and now you can receive the flow. And that's enlightenment of flow, is that you're gonna align your yin and your yang, which is being and doing, and from that place you're gonna receive a flow. So that's a simple math equation, if you like so. And so now we need to understand it more practically. So to understand it more practically, we can also add this. So when we really think about flow state, right? In a game perspective, I'm gonna go into Counter-Strike, but again, this is like in general in sports and stuff. Flow state is not something that is theoretical, right? It just is. It's there and is 100% proven, because you are hitting flow states a lot of times, right? And some of the people are hitting more times flow state, some of them don't that much, right? And flow state is simply allowed with two main stuff. First of all, is you need to have immersion. Immersion means that you're ultra focused on something, right? You're ultra focused on a game. When it comes to Counter-Strike, you're so focused on a game, nothing beyond exists. Nothing like no time, no worries, nothing. Just you're fully immersed. But also there is a second thing, and that's a calmness, an ultra state of calmness, where even in uncomfortable situations, even in clutches, you are totally calmness. You're totally calm, right? And this is really important because if you have an immersion, you start to tense. And if you don't have that calmness in you, then you can reach flow state. You cannot. If you are fully calm and you don't have this focus, this immersion, you cannot reach flow state again because you're too relaxed. So that's the balance in it, that we need to balance it out. And I knew it a long time ago, and I definitely say it in some other videos. The problem that I had was this is a byproduct of something. Because you cannot just say to yourself, okay, let's be immersed now, let's be focused. You cannot just say, let's be calm. Yeah, you can say, but when you get into clutches, when you get into uncomfortable situations, you cannot be just fully calm, right? Like just by saying it, that's what I mean. You're gonna feel fear, tense, and just a small kind of part of tensing and fear will make you out of flow state immediately. That's why it's really hard to reach for most people. But the good news is that I found a way how to actually get those byproducts. I found a way how to actually have those ingredients so you can have those byproducts and then you can receive flow. And again, it's really, we're going back and back because that's the being, doing, having. So the immersion is what is yang, right? Because from what you're gonna get emerge, you're gonna get emerge from engagement, which could be known as a passion. So when you play a game that is your passion, you automatically along the way, right? That doesn't mean that instantly, like, no, you play pistol round, you play full buy, you play full buy, whatever. And then, for example, you get some really good clutch or game will be more challenging or whatever. And then you get this engagement and then you get the immersion. So the immersion is received by playing a game from a passion perspective, okay? And then the calmness is received by letting go, right? We talk about it so much times, this letting go thing, and I just want to say that this is a yin part and this is a yang part. So basically, how can I say this? This is being, right? This is the yin part, and passion is doing, is the yang part, right? So when we go back into it, first of all, you want a being, right? So what you need to do is you want a being in a state of full letting go, full. And what I mean by that you don't want desires, right? You stop trying. That's what letting go means. Letting go means is that you give up, you stop trying fully, like fully. And this is a really hard thing to do because there is a certain ego traps, and I don't want to overload you so much with information, so I'm just gonna stick with that, and that at the end I'll just like tell you some more important stuff towards that. But basically, you want to be in a place of letting go, you want to be in a place of fully letting go, and from that place of being, then you want to do stuff, right? Then you want to play a game that is like a passion, right? And then when you're doing it, then you're going to receive flow. Why? Because as we say here, right? When you're playing from a place of passion, right? You're going to get sooner or later emerged. And when you fully let go, sooner or later, you're going to become in this state of calmness. And then when those two combines, that's when you get aligned with flow, right? And this is only in Counter-Strike, but this also applies to real life as well. And now we need to talk about the really important stuff, because when you, again, we have like the letting go is stop trying, right? So again, it's like the opposite of ego, because ego is trying, right? So when you're trying to win something, when you're trying to do something, you're gonna tense. That's why you need to do the opposite, to fully let go and just stop trying, give up control, and that's it. The problem, however, and that's the last thing that we're going to talk about, is that we need to do Soma, okay? Somatic work, shadow work, whatever how I want to call it. And this is a really important thing because even if we fully let go, our ego will still go back. It will still control us. So in certain situations, we can still be controlled by ego. Why? Because in past we had certain traumas, certain experiences, and because our ego is our protector, that's why it will take control over you, because it says, hey, we've been in this situation before, or I don't want to go back to this situation. I'm gonna take control over you, and I'm gonna do everything for you to protect you, right? So that's how ego kind of like operates in that sense. And that's why you need to do Soma, which is releasing your past trauma, past traumatic experiences. So in other words, it's like healing your wounds. And again, this video will be a really big video that I want to do pretty soon actually. And I think this can help a lot of people. And this is how you simply fully letting go. Because when you decide to let go, now the second step is to do somatic work, right? And if you do that, now you can be let go whole your life. And when you let go of whole your life, then you start to do stuff that you want to do, right? Because think about it. And again, like, I'm sorry if this is doesn't making sense, or this is overloading, or something like this. So I'm gonna try to be really simplistic in that sense. And that's imagine that this is you, okay? And you are working towards something, right? For example, you're working in your 9 to 5 job, or you're working for your passion, like for your career or whatever, like just doing something, right? And so the point is that you're probably, most likely, even if you don't want to say that, you're chasing money. Why are you chasing money? Because of many reasons, right? Security, validation, whatever. Okay? Ego traits, ego things. But the most important thing is that when you chase this money, you chase it for a feeling of safety and for a feeling of happiness, right? Because that's what money will give you. Money will give you safety in an external way. This is really important, not internal, but in an external way. And also it will give you a fun, right? A joy, a happiness, because you can buy things, you can do stuff. Again, external, not internal, but this is for another time. But yeah, so now we need to understand that, okay, after you have this money, right? After you have this money, you're happy, awesome. And now, what are you gonna do? Because that's the thing. A lot of people saying, okay, my goal, my lifetime goal is to get money, right? Okay, awesome. After you get that, that doesn't mean that life will end. Life will start, right? Because now from that point, when you have enough money, you can do whatever you want. But what if you bypass that? What if you already have the money, which is, by the way, an illusion, right? People just go for money because unconsciously they've been conditioned to that way. And what if you just let go? And when you let go, you're automatically this person that already has enough money, right? And now you're doing things from a place of being, of what? Of let go completely of everything. And from that place of being, now you're doing what? Things that you want to do. A passion. Why? Because it only makes sense. Think about that. You have every money in the world. Now you're gonna do what you want, right? You're gonna do what you always wanted to do. You're gonna start this business, you're gonna make an art, whatever you want. You're gonna do what you love. And that's it. Like that's it. Like I'm explaining it maybe too complicated, but it's so simple. You just wanna be first and then do, and then you're gonna receive what you always deserve it. It's not personal, but it's principle. So that's how we're gonna be aligned with flow. If you are not understanding this video, or you just have some questions, leave it in comments down below. I'm gonna try to reply to all of your comments. I'm really thankful for all your support, and yeah, Have a nice day, guys. See you next video. Bye bye.